Hi, I'm Life Coach Landry, and the topic is true love. It's that time of the year again. We got Thanksgiving, we got Christmas, we got New Year's. I got an email here from Jennifer Brunner from Lake Charles. Yes, I am coming to New Orleans in November, just to answer your question. And she says, me and my boyfriend haven't talked in about a week. I really miss him. I want to reach out to him. Our ending what didn't go so well, but I'm not really sure what to say. And who should make first contact? Well, first of all, it doesn't matter who makes first contact, right? If you miss somebody, love isn't a game. Go for them, fight for them, do what you need to do for them. Don't sit there, sit on it, scratch yourself like I'm not really sure what to do. Overthinking a relationship is one of the worst things you can do. What you want to do is just ask yourself one simple question. Do you love them? Do you want to be with them? If you do, then you do everything you can until the person says they do not want to be with you. Okay? However, if you're asking me what conversation you should have with them, which it looks like you're asking both questions, so I'm going to answer both for you. What I would say is what you need to do is you need to think about what you want, and then you need to meet in person. Don't do it over the phone. And I'm assuming you want to work things out. And I'm going to give you 7 questions to take to that. Okay? I personally have gone through something recently with someone I'm dating, and you know, when you get in that position where you're waiting for someone to make contact, you might be waiting a long time, right? We had a moment and I needed a couple of days to myself to kind of think about things. That doesn't mean I wanted to run away from it. It doesn't mean I wanted to get out of it. What it meant is I just needed to collect myself, collect my thoughts. I made sure I stayed in contact with the person the whole time. And then I even said, hey, at the end of it, I set up like an invite, like I'd like to see him. And I reached out twice to try to do that, to see if they wanted to get together. And that's very similar to what you should do here, right? And what I mean by that is you don't want the person to make it, you don't want them to feel like you're gone, right? If you still have interest. If you need to think about things or you're unsure, that's different. But it looks like here you really want to see him. So I'm going to give you 7 questions. Number 1, is love more about pleasure or sacrifice? So scratch your head a little bit, do a little will thinking here. What you want to figure out is it about sacrifice or is it about pleasure? Are you the couple that needs to constantly be doing something together to be happy? Or maybe that person does, but you don't, and that's an incompatibility? Or are you sitting at home, scratching yourself, looking around, bored, because you really want to be out constantly doing things like that, right? So, and then there's the people who believe in sacrifice, working on the home. Not out at bars all the time. They believe on working on the home and children and family, and that's more of a self-sacrificing couple. So I'd kind of find out what kind of couple you are in that respect. Number 7 is going to be the most important one, by the way, so hang on. Number 2 is marriage temporary, or can it be temporary given if things don't go well, or is it permanent no matter what? There are 2 types of people in this world when it comes to marriage. The people that believe in if certain things happen, if you cheat, if you do A, B, and C, then it can bring a marriage to an end. And then you have the couple who says, no matter what happens, we are going to get through it. We are going to make it. Find out what kind of couple you are and see where you fall on that. And if marriage is something of interest to both of you, right? Because I saw, and I'm not going to read your whole email, but I saw you talk about that you have discussed marriage and whatnot. Number 3 would be, what patterns of conflict did you learn from your parents? And this is super important because if you're a smart person, if you're a smart man, you're a smart woman, and you meet somebody, what you're going to do is you're going to find out what patterns they bring from their upbringing, right? Some may not notice it, so you may call them out for it. Some you may be able to observe on your own without a conversation about it. And then sometimes if you have a really good partner, which we all do, they will tell you about the pluses and the minus of their parents, and they will work really hard to ensure those things will happen to your relationship, okay? Number 4 would be, what does it mean to forgive? What are some ideas which are not forgiveness that are confused with it, all right? Forgiving is just a big part of true love, right? And what it means is it's okay to temporarily get mad. It's okay to have a really heated argument, maybe 2 or 3 days worth of it, a week. But at the end of it, and I say this in all my videos, you have to desire resolve. Even when someone blows up and like, you know what, I don't want this anymore, I don't want to do this anymore. If it's in a heated exchange or it's in a very moment where they're just super stressed or they thought things were going really good and you said something disparaging that made them like pull back, you have to think about these things, right? You need to really find out, does the person ultimately want to actually pull out? And if they don't, then you need to forgive each other and then work your way through it. I'm a big proponent when I love, in my work-life balance, I'm a very work hard, play hard. I'm exactly the same in my relationship. I work really hard at it, and then I want to enjoy, right? And I have to be exhausted to be like I need a break. But once my exhaustion, my energy comes back up, I'm ready to re-engage and talk again. Sorry if you're hearing cars outside. We got a cold front. I got my windows open. I got a bunch of light coming in, some cool weather. Number 5 would be, what part does courage play in your relationship? You know, the fundamental courage. In other words, when one person's being a baby, does the other person step up, throw some courage in there, and become an adult? Or are they constantly putting you in a position where if you don't save the day, the relationship always falls apart? You know, you might be scratching your ear going, wait, hold on. So I'm supposed to always do everything? No. It's supposed to be complimentary. Sometimes the other person's going to be at their worst and you need to be at your best to help y'all get through it, and vice versa, right? So if you're at your worst, you're going to hope that they're going to help you get through it. The idea is, at some point, both of you are going to fall and be worse or better, and you're supposed to help each other through that. No one's going to be perfect at all times. And if you're in one of those relationships where there's a part of you that kind of believes that relationships aren't supposed to have struggles, you probably need to be single, okay? Because relationships have struggles, and that's okay as long as the love is intact, okay? Number 6, perseverance. When things get challenging, this kind of relates to what we just talked about, but when things get challenging, how do you perceive the challenge? Do you fold up? Do you talk through it? You know, in my personal experience, the person I was dating and with for a long time, and, you know, every time we talk, we kind of rehearse like a lot of things have happened or whatnot, but they went through a lot of trauma, okay, and a lot of events in their life. And a lot of people who, when they were upset, would do things to them that just, you know, weren't good. And I had to play a role of, you know, being a protector, being there to talk to them, being there to help them through it, being there to let them vent and whatnot. And that's a lot of self-sacrifice for a person to do, because it requires you to put a lot of your own feelings on hold and a lot of your relationship on hold to help them through that. It doesn't mean your relationship won't do anything. It looks like one of the things Jennifer's saying in her email is, we went through a hard time through a custody battle. Interesting. And in that custody battle, oh, okay, this was a friend of a friend went through a custody battle who was living in her boyfriend's house. Okay, I see. And in that, he had a lot of stress because he was having to deal with the ex showing up at his house. He'd call me frustrated. Okay, so what you're talking about is you were going through some frustrating moments. You were getting, your relationship sounds like it was taking the hit. It's kind of like having a bad work day and someone bringing a bad work day home, except for this happened for months, it looks like, between you two. And this goes back to, you know, letting them vent. You know, in my similar experience, you know, I had to help someone through something tragic in their life, and it lasted a very long time. It wasn't something that happened for like a month or two. If you love that person, you will remain in their life to help them through it. Now, in the end, a lot of people say, well, you know, would you, you know, look at things in that perspective? She's asking me here, if we're not going to be together, I'm afraid to lose them because I don't see us being friends. And that's perfectly okay. See, here's the deal. At our age, and it looks like, how old are you? You are 34. At 34, and I would say even from 31 and up, it's really hard to be friends with someone that you date intimately in this age. And the reason that is because you only have intimate feelings, right? Like in my relationship, if I was to be told that she just wanted to be friends, I would say, I only want a romantic relationship with you. I'm not interested in friendship. And that's because it's come to an extent to where I can only see them through that lens. And that's a good thing, right? I don't see them as a friend. I see them as someone I want to be with, I want to take care of, and things like that. So, you know, on number 6, perseverance, one of those things is money. What's money mean to both of you? That's a big deal, right? So for some people, money means keeping things, the infrastructure intact. That's my belief, right? My belief is I like to have lots of money because I want the infrastructure and the lifestyle and the comfort level in which we live never to be jeopardized or messed with. Outside of that, I'm like money, I'm very loose about it, right? Some people are way tighter, right? They want a little tiny house and a little tiny car because they don't want to spend any money, but they don't want to go out and do anything with the extra money they have. And then you have the other people who want, they want to spend all the time. So I would say find out what kind of people you are. But number 7, and this is the most important one, and this is the one that makes people scratch their nose, scratch their head and go, why didn't I think of this? Like when I was talking to somebody. And this is probably the biggest one. And if you can say some of these things to yourself, when I read some of this to you, or talk about some of this to you as I as I talk out loud and you're reading it, if you're reading the transcript, whatever, this is the one you really want to think about. Who am I to you? Okay, this is the most important one. Does your potential partner really see you as an absolute built-in, special, unique, irreplaceable? Okay, these are all things about how I feel about my significant other. I think she is irreplaceable. I don't think I could walk out and just find somebody else. Yeah, we could all go date somebody else. We could go back to someone from our past, but there is no one like her for me. So, and you need to kind of feel that way about him. Do you feel like we can all get over somebody eventually with time, year or two, and move on and be with somebody else? But are they truly replaceable, right? And if they're not, that is your true love. Okay? You feel like anytime you're not talking, it's heartbreaking. That doesn't mean if you don't talk, you can tell them, hey, you're breaking my heart, I don't want to be together. What it means is they mean everything to you. I would say kind of like this. Who am I to you needs to be kind of beyond a person's feelings for you, right? Does the person have the will, the strength to endure all the feelings they have and not treat you bad because of them? Some people, they get their feelings involved in you, and when you don't give them what they want, they treat you bad. Okay, you don't want to be with those type of people. Those are the people who are unhealthy and toxic eventually. Even if it's an ex, if it's new, if you get back with them, it slowly builds up and then it blows up again. What you want is an ongoing conversation with somebody. Communication and trust and loyalty are the 3 quintessential pillars of love. Okay? We're talking about true love, which we're talking about the person. The concepts are trust, loyalty, and communication. Okay? But out of all those, it's communication. All right? If you can communicate well, your relationship will thrive. People who don't communicate well, especially if there's one and the other isn't, it will wither. But if you have 2 people that communicate, but one's super emotional and throws fits all the time, or whatnot. Now, I want to point this out. Every relationship gets into a bad patch where things aren't as good as they once were. Okay? And what you have to remember that this is usually temporary. This is usually because something's changed. But that doesn't mean it can't be brought back or worked through. And Jennifer, it sounds like that's what you're going through. This sounds like a patch to me. And I've read in details what you're going through. It sounds like a patch. So what that means is get to the table, have an in-person conversation. The first thing you want to say to somebody is you want them to know, hey, we're not ultimately breaking up, or I don't want that. I want to resolve this with you. It's why I'm here. I want this to work out. That's the first thing you want to say. And I cannot stress that enough, because otherwise someone will come to the conversation and they will be very, very reserved in it because they don't know what you're about to say. So they don't know whether they need to defend themselves, if they need to open their heart to you, or if they can say whatever. So make sure the first thing you say when you talk to someone is, I love you, I miss you, I'm glad we're here, and my ultimate goal here is to resolve things with you. So Jennifer, that's what I would do. Take these 7 things, read them multiple times, practice saying them to yourself. Don't take the phone and listen to my video while you're talking to him. But these are the things you want to bring to the table, okay? Because here's the deal. When 2 people love each other, there is nothing, and I repeat, nothing that can't be worked out. But it has to be healthy love. And it has to be with someone you want to be with ultimately, despite when things don't feel right, or you go through patches, or you don't like anything. Love them like you're never going to see them again, and that's how you'll get through it, okay? If this was a help to you, you can email me on the link below. And if you just like this content and it helps you kind of figure things out, you can leave a donation below in the link, and I will talk to you soon.